Hey guys, Mindy Kinnis here. What I wanted to talk with you about today are some of the differences between therapy and coaching. The obvious, most easy distinction between the two are therapy is here you are today and looking back to your past and all this stuff has happened. There's been people who influenced you, events that influenced you, circumstances that came up that have impacted or influenced your current life. And so it's really looking back and kind of rehashing those and maybe even choosing a different perspective based on those things. But it's really about going this way into the past. Coaching, on the other hand, is looking to the future, looking to your future and saying, this is what I want out here in my future. This is where I am right now. What are the most applicable and practical steps, tools, techniques, things that I can do to get from here where I am to here where I want to be. So instead of looking at all this stuff that happened and whether or not you feel victim to it or not, that's a whole nother story. But it is in therapy about going back into the past and rehashing a lot of that stuff. Coaching, on the other hand, is about creation. It's about what do you want your life to look like and how can we make that happen? What I experienced last year was very intriguing to me because this hadn't happened in the whole 6 years that I've been coaching. And then last year, I got two different testimonials that were basically saying the same thing. And I want to read you just tiny excerpts from both of them to show you what I'm talking about. This is the first one. This client says, "This was the first time that I felt therapy actually being therapeutic." Now, this client is using the term therapy for the work she and I did, which was coaching. So like I said, they can be used interchangeably, but just to point that out. So this client continues, "As silly as that sounds, the traditional venting and then answering questions like, 'And how did that make you feel?' just doesn't work for me. It doesn't force me to truly engage or to give all of myself, all of my effort. Mindy opened my eyes to what therapy and life coaching really entails." Second client, this again was from last year. "I was not sure exactly what I was looking for when I pursued coaching after many years of psychotherapy. However, what I discovered is that Mindy's coaching allowed me to translate into behavior what I had been working on obtaining emotionally through therapy. I spent many years processing difficult childhood experiences so I could embrace a truth about myself that was grounded in love and acceptance. Mindy gave me permission to explore my desires so that I could bring them to life on my own here and now." So what I want to leave you with about therapy versus coaching is it depends on what you need. It depends on what you want. I'll use this slight example from my past as a story to hopefully show you what I'm talking about. When I was in college, one of my roommates burst into the room and she was all excited. She was like, "I figured out the answer." And I'm like, "The answer to what?" She said, "I just learned today that zinc is beneficial for acne. So I'm going to start taking zinc supplements and that should clear up all my acne and this will be awesome." And I was like, yeah, that is awesome if you have a zinc deficiency. If you're deficient in zinc and that is what's causing you to have acne, then yes, absolutely, adding zinc as a supplement to your diet will completely help. But if that's not the issue, then you're just going to add more zinc. It's not going to do anything about your acne. So I sometimes think of people who spend all this time and energy and money in therapy, and that isn't what they need. What they need is a solid plan of going forward and some accountability in terms of what they're doing with their lives and what they're doing with their gifts and talents and skills. And they don't need therapy. So they go for years and years and years, and it's not working. And hear me clearly, this video is not about therapy not working. I think therapy is awesome for those who need it. If you don't need therapy, you may want to look into coaching because everybody can use a coach. And I love the idea that nobody needs a coach. It's if you want to take your life to the next level, that's what coaching is about. Therapy, I think, is a very needed thing in our society, and there are tons of people who benefit from it greatly. So I am in all gratitude to therapists that are doing just important, great work. To sum it up, I'm going to leave you with a quote from the ultimate coach, Steve Hardison. He's a friend of mine and just a fantastic coach and a great guy. He says, if you need medication, get a good psychiatrist. If you need therapy, get a good psychologist. If you want to be in a created space that will allow you to see clearly and be clear, work with me. And what I would say to you is, if you can afford to work with Steve Hardison, more power to you. That is awesome. I fully suggest it. And if that's not quite in the budget, work with a coach that makes sense for you. Get to know coaches out there. So many coaches will offer a consult or a conversation to say, hey, what is it that you're looking for? Am I able to serve you in that capacity? If that's a good match, let's rock. And if not, maybe we can recommend you to someone else that we know that specializes in what you want to work on. So with that, please be very clear about what it is that you need and what it is that you want. If something is not working in your life, when would be the best time to say, you know what, maybe it's time to switch it up. Maybe it's time for a change. I'm going to try something else. Now would be the best time. If you have any questions for me about coaching, about my work, I'd love to have a conversation with you. Perhaps that would lead to working together, and perhaps not. There's no obligation, and I'm certainly open to making referrals, making recommendations, even for a book or a program. There's so much good stuff out there, but go with what is going to work for you. Don't try to take zinc for acne if you don't have a zinc deficiency. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Mindy Kniss. I'll see you next time.